So this installment for our Ghetto Pray Friday, I have a mystic of the week, my good sis Mumeanha DivineStarseed, with us as our guest tonight. So we're gonna just have her introduce herself, and then we'll ask her some questions. I would ask you guys to show some love on the chat, engage with us. Feel free to like, share this video with friends, whoever, because we are going to discuss different topics, and it's always good to get to know different people in the spiritual community. I don't bring on anybody that I don't feel would be some sort of light or contribution to the spiritual community, or just, to connect with other collective of creative people. So, sis, if you don't mind introducing yourself, tell the audience about you, who you are, what you
Hi, I'm Mamina. That's actually my name. That's actually how you say it.
do.
And I do mystic work through channeling, divination, like tarot, even reading charms. And I also do artwork and create oracle decks. So a lot of my art is featured on my decks, and all of the messages are what I'm channeling. And I create everything in hopes that people learn to evolve, learn to connect, not only evolve for yourself, but how to connect with others, how to get to the core meaning of what's going on in your life and around you, and most importantly, how to be empowered. I don't create anything for it to be a crutch or for you to be dependent, just a tool that helps you further grow.
Yeah. And I've shared some of my sister's work. She does create different types of decks, oracle decks. She does have an Etsy shop where you can purchase her decks. That she creates all the imagery, all of that. It's all unique. So I have a few of her decks that I've definitely featured, whether I've used them on the channel or reviewed some of her decks. So y'all want to check out her channel. She has a channel here on YouTube with readings. So all right, sis, so let's hop into it. I have some questions for you. Okay. Like all spiritual people, we've all had some sort of experience as childhood that kind of introduced us, or where we kind of had that, I guess, genesis to our spiritual journey. What is your earliest memory in childhood that you've experienced, maybe the supernatural, or you knew you had spiritual gifts?
Well, the funny thing about it is I have a really good memory. So in my family, women being spiritual, intuitive, or even healers, that's normal. My
Mm-hmm.
mom being a prime example of that. She's very intuitive, very aware. When I was a kid, though, I was always able to see things, whether it was an entity or a series of events, and I had a tendency of saying them out loud.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom used to tell people, "Mina talk too much." It wasn't that I was talking too much. I'm just saying what I'm saying. And
Mm-hmm.
there's one particular incident. I want to say I was about 4. We went to this. My mom does nonprofit back in the day when I was a kid, and she still has it, but back then she was more active. And this woman was donating a lot of items. For some reason, when this lady invited us to her house, I don't know why. I think it was because her husband answered my mom's call. She thought my mom was the lady that the husband was having an affair with or something. Even though
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even though they had only had the one conversation, which was like to confirm the address. So I knew nothing of this, of course. I'm like 4, but I used to go with my mom everywhere. We go to this woman's house. I remember this big pool in her backyard in upstate Pennsylvania. And I look out at the pool and I see this lady. She was in like a cheetah bikini. If y'all think back to the 90s, how like the tube top bikinis look. And
Mm-hmm.
I thought she was there. Like, you couldn't have told me that she wasn't there. She was just lounging around on this, like,
Mm-hmm.
floating thing, and I'm just watching, and then it dawns on me, well, she can't be there because this lady isn't acknowledging her. This woman
Mm-hmm.
would be acknowledging if this other woman was in there. So she starts asking my mom certain questions, and she's not being overly rude, just very detective, right? I'm 4, bear that in mind, and I'm like, "You know, there's a lady in your pool." And she's like, "A lady in my pool." I said, "Yeah, if you give me some of those chocolate chip cookies, I'll describe it for you." So the lady's just thinking I'm entertaining a kid, right? And I start to describe this lady that this woman knows me or my mother could not know. We would not know
Mm-hmm.
this lady. I'm like, she's thin, she's pale, she has brunette hair. I didn't know how to say leopard back in the day, so I called it
Mm-hmm.
animal print or something. and she's just staring at me like, and I'm just eating the cookies because, payment and whatnot. So that was very vivid because normally my experiences prior to that, particularly with my mom or like my brother, grandmother, it
Mhm.
was normal. Sometimes I might see things that they didn't understand, but it was like, okay, you're tapped in, we get it. But that was my
Mhm.
first time with a stranger and them being like, who is this child and where did she come from? And how did she know that? So that would be my one of my most vivid moments about 4 years old.
Yeah. So that kind of ties into like your ability, I guess, like a mediumship gift a little bit, maybe even like to tap in if somebody's projecting their energy in a space or something. I guess pretty much.
Yeah, and I didn't know what to call it. I didn't
Mhm.
really, even now, sometimes when I don't have an issue with giving something a name because a lot of times that's the way of giving the power, acknowledging what you
Mhm.
can do. But we have such a fragmented idea of what some of the terms are. Some of them are far
Mhm.
more broad than most might think. If you hear psychic, individuals think of like three categories and call it a day. When you think mediumship, people think, oh, you talk to the dead. They don't realize
Yeah.
that it's just being a medium in
Mhm.
between energies. That's it.
Right.
So when I was a kid, I didn't feel comfortable saying psychic. Hi. I didn't feel comfortable saying psychic because I was like, well, the people on TV just talk to the dead, right?
Yeah.
Like, is I mean, okay. And then when it came to spiritualists, which is my mom is an
Mhm.
indigenous name giver and tribe leader, medicine
Mhm.
woman of our tribe. So I associated healing very deeply with spirituality. I really never differentiated it. But I was like,
Yeah.
I ain't really trying to walk around healing people. I had seen it very young. I saw the other side of people, and I'm like,
Mhm.
I don't think I want to do that.
Yeah.
um, not that way. So my way of thinking, well, how could you utilize these talents that you don't really know what to call, was
Mhm.
actually art and music. I
Yeah.
I wanted to be more like an artist, like a singer and that type of thing, because I felt like if I could have a crowd of people in one space and we're generating high energy, that's the
Mhm.
service. I don't have to name it anything else. They can just feel what they feel and we go on about our business.
Mhm.
Yeah, the divine said, you got jokes. Oh, and we're still gonna make you use your voice.
Yeah. So the next question is about your creativity. Specifically, like I wanted to touch on like the various decks that you create and like your process. How does like your spiritual like gifting or mediumship? How does that go into the process or some level of the process of your creativity?
Well, I would have to start by saying I didn't intend to create Oracle deck.
Mhm.
I always wanted to fuse intention in my art though. So
Mhm.
even if I was sketching cosplay art, I would still think about what do I want the person to feel or
Mhm.
unlock in themselves. But how I came across Oracle, there's actually some friend of mine were looking at my cosplay of my original characters and they were like, it'd be cool is
Mhm.
if this was like on a poster. I was like,
Mhm.
because I'm thinking myself on a poster and I'm selling it, that's weird. But then another friend of mine who actually I think all of us own a deck from Mata. Mata was actually talking to me and she saw a cosplay of me. Funny enough, this is what's gonna make this like all intuitive. I
Mhm.
created this character that's supposed to be psychic, and she lives in a cyber world, right?
Mhm.
Without going too much into the story, in the world that she lives in, psychics, their gifts are pretty much being kind of like pimped out in a sense because it's rare to come across someone whose intuition is completely intact. So
Mhm.
rich people and different entities try to kind of hoard them and force them into contracts where it's like you can only serve us. You can only work
Mhm.
for us. You can't work for no one else. And she's underground. She's able to use her gift, help people, and then the resources that she obtains from that goes towards liberating everybody, spiritual people,
Mhm.
etc. It's a more complex story, but I had already started the process for it, the chatting and all of that. And so I started introducing the cosplay. That's the photo Marek saw. That would
Mhm.
become the cover of Love Confession Cyber Edition.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. So how it came about is she was like, I'd buy a deck with this picture.
Mhm.
And that was coming from like the queen of Oracle decks. I'm like, okay, if you say that, then I guess I gotta do it. By that point, she was the third confirmation. I always say I don't need my confirmations in threes, but I like them. And I'm
Mhm.
like, I don't want to look like an idiot because I'm not listening.
Mhm.
So I just sat down and I remember I would always make notes, and I still do this. Whenever I hear a thought or somebody's channeled message, I type it real quick on a note, whatever it is,
Mhm.
whatever the phrase is. And then I think about how would I translate this to who they're trying to talk to? Because 9 times out of 10, whatever they're trying to convey is not completely getting through,
Mhm.
or they're not saying completely what they mean. So by this point, I had already had like a list of these sentences that were mixed. Like they could be unisex, they could be masculine, feminine. And I was
Mhm.
like, okay, well, in this story, that's one of my character's gifts. She helps people connect to their loved ones, etc., especially in romance. I was like, okay, love confessions. And I noticed that all the messages I were hearing, when I would hear the voices talking, it was like they were typing, like they were anxious.
Mhm.
F you and this, you wrote in on it, da da da. You know what I mean? And so I said, okay, how could I say that to that person in a way that would make sense? And I started translating, which my mom and my cousin always called me like Nina's the translator. She's gonna make sense of what we're trying to say. By the time I blinked, I thought the deck would be maybe 50 cards. It turned into 90 cards.
Mhm. Yeah, I
Um,
have that deck too. I like that it has categories. There's another deck that you have that I think almost every deck I think that you have, or at least a few of them I have, they have categories like different,
mhm,
like what each card represents. And I love and appreciate a deck that especially like a romance deck or a love deck, that it does have like a balance between, like, it's in between. It's not all fluff, or it's not too like generic things. Like, you could tell it was channeled basically. So I appreciate that. And Love
yeah, and
Confessions, I do got my shirt on, so the support this.
represent. I got my
Yeah. So
glasses on and my do rag.
yes,
Hi.
I appreciate it.
Hi.
Hello, Tawanda. Hey sis. Hey Tori. So my
Yeah,
next question is, so when it comes to like, as a spiritual woman, as an indigenous woman, that is your like spiritual, that's just you. That's where you come from.
mhm.
How do you feel as a indigenous woman, or just for the divine feminine collective, like your envision of future acceptance of our gifts? Because it's not really so much like it's something new per se. I feel like it's more so of just, I guess, more women being comfortable with their gifts, be more comfortable in their medicine, in their healing abilities, and things like that. However they channel it, whether it's through creativity, whether it's through spiritual modalities, whatever that may be.
Well, the interesting thing about this time historically, womb
Mhm.
space wise, if you would, we're at that point where we're reconnecting to ourselves and we're waking up. When the divine feminine wakes, everybody wakes.
Mhm.
And for so long, we were purposefully suppressed. If it's one thing I never make an excuse for, is I don't say, okay, well, due to the cycles of astrology and time, one day we just went to sleep and the men woke up and then they just took over. It's like, no, that was intentional because the
Mhm.
divine feminine energy represented automatically connection, creativity, and how to expand that within out. So by cutting that off, it became easier to manipulate or control. And now we're at that point where it's organic to break free of that. And we
Mhm.
can contribute our ancestors to that to an extent. I always say, not necessarily all ancestors were good ancestors, but
Yeah.
the ones who were, the ones who fought, the ones who sometimes they didn't even fight, they just healed. Just
Mhm.
a hug or being a medicine woman, whatever it was. We
Mhm.
are now the embodiment of that dream of what that freedom would be once it came along. And every generation so far has tried to contribute to some manner of that. So that's why we're seeing the world the way it is. If you notice, it's like the men are losing their mind. The women the women are starting to do more than just, oh, it's just the talk back or stepping into masculinity. They realize that there is also power in their feminine, that the feminine was never weak. She never lacked being a warrior. In fact, she was the baddest of the bunch. If you
Mhm.
um if you know and you connect with deities and you get to the real story, the men were always scared of women.
Yeah.
Zeus, he not trying to go toe to toe with that chick. He's like, wait a minute, what y'all got me messed up?
Mm.
So it's the same thing with the Orishas. The men knew, hey, if y'all gonna try Oshun, if you gonna try Yamaye, you're your own partner. I don't know what to tell you. And that
Yeah.
right there represents our power. And we bring it in through creativity, whether it's poetry, music, art, conversations like this, because this is also creative space. That's
Mhm.
just the spark. What
Yeah.
follows next is the action, the dance. And I would also say we're at a moment of accepting our sensuality. The divine feminine has always represented the enchantress, the sensuality of things.
Mhm.
And so we're learning how to connect with that without shame. We're going back to that ancient understanding where it's like, okay, my body is sacred. It deserves love. I can love on me and I can accept love when it's genuine towards me,
Mhm.
and constantly be abundant, constantly step into prosperity. And that's something that they worked really hard to take from us. You know what I mean? So that's what I see today, even amongst some of those who might feel fear, is you see the ones who won't back down. Like, no,
Mhm.
you got me messed up. I am my great grandmother's granddaughter. And the one before that, I am my own ancestor at this point. I am the
Mhm.
goddess that you won't come and, you know what I mean? I am
Mhm.
Kalima, and etc. And you're gonna, what we doing? You know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
gonna respect me? What's going on? And that's important during this time.
Yeah. That was beautifully said. I definitely agree. It's I feel like it's a time of remembrance. Like you said something very key. Like when we honor our ancestors, we honor them through us, to our steps, us adhering to our callings, our purposes, things like that. Um, so last question that I want to ask you, that I ask all my guests is, what makes you mystical, and what is your definition of a mystic or mysticism, by definition, your personal definition?
My personal definition would probably follow something more cosmic. To me, mystical isn't so much about the mystery, it's understanding the holistic connection to everything, not
Mm,
just earthbound things.
mhm,
Anything, all things are created connected to each other. We're all different strands in a tapestry. If we can accept just that, we realize that one, we're never alone. And even when we are alone, we're very powerful because there's always something else pulling that thread to hold it tight, to hold it secure. And we have a lot of different colors and patterns. I see everything in colors, auras,
mhm,
and etc. And I feel like mysticism is just recognizing those vibrant various of colors and even the dark and the shadow shades and just seeing how they all make sense, they all come together, they all serve a purpose and helping the other side grow. So for me, it's just a matter of accepting that abundance, accepting that love from within and out. And I feel like we're all working on it because most of us in this field, no matter how early we recognize what we could do, we've had it hard. You know what I
mhm,
mean? And I feel like sometimes for some of us, it was even worse because we knew it didn't have to be that hard. Like, I know this don't have to happen this way. And
mhm,
yet the lesson is still here because something in the family didn't heal. We start
mhm,
realizing that we have all these physical things. Even with mysticism, there's so much physical that everyone tries to apply to it. It
mhm,
started as a soul, it started as a cosmic energy, and then it decided to solidify itself in form. So we're multidimensional, which means we can create whatever reality, we can create whatever circumstance. If we
mhm,
accept that, we're unstoppable. So to me, that's a huge part of what mysticism really is. It's just accepting that holistic, multidimensional version of yourself that's connected to all things.
mhm.
Nothing's lost on you.
Yes, I share to that. So I don't know if you want to share anything else with the audience or anything about you. I have linked all your information, but if you have anything upcoming or just any words that you want to leave with the audience.
I have a Patreon I'm working on. I'll be bringing some alchemy to that, some mirror magic and whatnot. Um, I'm still holding off on accepting readings at the moment, but I will have my website. Either I'm going to provide it on my website or my Etsy. I'll start
Okay.
accepting those again. Other than that, I'm open to questions if anybody has them.
Yeah. If anybody has questions, yeah, I don't think we've ever really done that. If anybody has a question or y'all want to leave feedback, show some love to sis or the channel, because this wasn't. I don't want to take up too much of y'all time. We try to keep in mind that it's late where some of you ladies
Yeah.
are. So, but yeah, they have. Let me see. They said add a question sticker. I didn't know you could do that. Let me see. Oh, it's kind of like IG a little bit. Let me see if it let me create.
Also, I like love that we're just supporting each other. We both have on
Yeah,
shirts of my artwork. I'm rocking sisters creations. Like we
yeah,
can't go
and it
wrong.
was not planned at all. Let me see. Will it let me do it? Okay, hold on. Can you guys see the little? Oh, here it is. Start Q&A. Okay. I don't know. This is something new on here. I didn't know they had this.
Oh, it popped
Can
up
you
for
see
me
it?
for a second too.
I don't know if it's still on. I don't know what I'm doing, child. I don't know. But yeah. Do you sell the shirt still?
Yes. I'm switching more so to these jerseys. I feel like they're more vibrant,
Oh,
long
like a jersey
lasting.
material. Oh, it's cute.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll be switching more to that, but I'll still have some t-shirts available. I'm probably gonna upgrade Love Confessions at some point. I'm probably not gonna provide it in too many colors. I think I'm gonna keep it black, purple. I feel like that
Mm.
fits the vibe of it more. So if
Yeah.
anything, some stuff might be decreasing in color, and then vibrant ones like these will be
Mhm.
available, which are kind of like all over art.
Yeah. I like the tie dye. That's cute. And then the tapestry too. Like, is that just
Yeah.
something
This
that you
is
made?
this is my Oshun sketch that I did years ago. I did this, oh my God, that might have been like 2017, 2016.
Mhm.
Um, it is available on my Redbubble, but in order to get it, you would have to go through my art page or my cosplay page. Link to
Oh,
different things.
okay.
Um, at some point, she gonna want me to update her.
It's
Right.
so yeah, cause it's funny. I got my ocean candle lighting on the table. Yeah, we was thinking of like today. I swear, I almost put on my pink wig, but I'm like, it's gonna clash with the lighting. It's not gonna look right, but it wouldn't match like the color of like the hair on here. But
I'm
nah,
telling you.
we would have matching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I made this one, funny enough, the first thing my mom did was because on Redbubble it's like a dress, a
Mhm.
wallet. First thing she did was bought the wallet, the dress, and that. Like, oh shoot, watching over the money.
That's a
Because at
good idea. I
some
like that. That's,
point she wants to be updated. You know, she's sweet and lavish now. She fierce, but she'll sweeten your life. So those,
yeah,
and
that's
we
a
got
good
the
idea.
waterfalls in the back. The
Mhm.
waterfalls
I
of
like it.
Ocean.
Is that it's river, huh? It kind of looks like honey a little bit, but it's a river right behind her.
Yeah, it's a waterfall behind her, and then at the bottom it turns into water, like she's dancing in the water.
Mm,
So
yeah, I
even
love
though that
that.
she's like, yeah, she's one of my older pieces. I think I did her, yeah, like maybe 2016. You know, could have been earlier.
I don't know if I could request this. I don't know if you. I don't know how long it's gonna take, but I would love like a deck dedicated to Oshun, one dedicated to Yamoya, one dedicated to Kalima. Like I would love
She's like, let me put my list in just in case you feel moved or
that.
so inclined.
Mhm.
Well, it's funny. She might move me at one point to create a deck for her. I think if I
Mhm.
did though, I would include the diversity of her. Many women have embodied Oshun. Many of us are a part of her and or her daughter, but a
Mhm.
lot of times she's still represented one way, one shape, one tone, one this, one that, and it's like
Mhm.
she has this variety here. That's why I'm like, I know at some point she gonna want to be updated. Like, okay, new hair, new body, what we doing? And the
Yeah.
femininity, like sometimes I notice Dex will focus on the fertility of her, but not the fear side of her. Like she's a
Mhm.
good woman. I'm like, listen, I ain't got time to be messing with her. Y'all crazy. I'm not making her mad.
Yeah. Not just the
So we
pretty
trying to
side. Yeah, but yeah, when you're called or like if you're called to, that would be. I would love to see like your unique take on it because there is a it's called the Faces of Oshun deck. I don't know if you have this deck.
I don't think I have it yet. It's colorful, right?
Yeah, it has like a peacock type imagery on it, and I like that deck because she does show many different facets of Oshun and like the different embodiments, like you said. Some of it's like different body shapes, skin tones, ethnicities. Like, yeah, it's called the
Yeah.
Faces of
I
Oshun.
don't I wanted it. I didn't get it yet. It was something else I was moved to get first. But funny enough, I believe I have
Hmm.
it in my wish list. So I'll show it to you. You can tell me if it's the same one. But
Okay.
I saw it not too long ago and I loved it because it was colorful. It wasn't
Hmm.
just only the gold. Like, yes,
It
that's
is
her
a
color.
beautiful deck.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to check it out because that's like confirmation at this point.
Hmm. Well, all right. I guess everybody's shy. I do appreciate everybody that
Yeah.
came on though, and will watch the replay. Make sure y'all show some love. Make sure you guys check out my sister's platform. She does have a YouTube channel. She does have a TikTok. She has an Instagram. So check out her channelings, her messages, support her art. And yeah, I appreciate y'all. Much love.
Much
And I will catch you
love.
guys in the next
Blessings.
one.
Bye.